Don't let me down. Don't let me down. They're gonna jump over and beat me up. MMA. Friday. Fuck, Nicky money. I'm ready. Where's your 50 cal? Right there, home. I got the box.
I think he's inspired a lot of kids for grassroots boxing gyms that were struggling to pay bills are now full because of people like Jake Paul. Yeah. And for women's boxing, he's done amazing. It's women's rights to stand up and fight for equal right, and Jake's a pioneer of that. So he's done well on those two fronts.
Let's go. Whole card stacked next Friday. Let's fucking get it. Whole card, movies. Come on. Stop playing, people. Look at this.
Great.
Look at this. Come on.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. And then
I don't dislike Jake Paul. I'm just a competitor, and we could talk about the fight, what he learned, what I learned. And as I said, and I stand on it, I think there's room for us to do some good business because we're crossing over from USA to the UK. We're here to take over, not take part. And I have to go in there, stomp all over him, inflict pain, and land that right hand that he says is my only weapon. I know the energy in that building when you've got 15,000 people calling out for entertainment, calling out for power punches. I know I'm going to deliver. I know Jake's going to deliver. So the people in the venue are going to be in for a good treat, and they're going to go home and say, what an event that was.
You can bring the vote in, fellas.
Huh? You had taller shoes on last week. You're shorter today. You're shorter today, bro. He's strong, bro. He's strong.
Mommy, he's drinking me.
Anthony Joshua erupted at the Miami press conference, cutting through Jake Paul's theatrics and presenting their December fight as a genuine high-stakes professional challenge test.
Game goes.
Yeah, if I'm going to be honest, I'm going to break his face, I'm going to break his body up, I'm going to stomp all over him. That's my mentality, right? That's a fighter's mentality, and I know what's in my heart, I know what's in my mind, and I'm here to compete. I'm here to prove myself that I'm the better fighter, so I'm looking forward to it, and I'll do that until I finish fighting, no matter who it is.
Who are those opponents lined up for you in 2026?
My focus is on Jake Paul.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Is that true though? Do you have those two fights lined up already?
They're not signed, they're not sealed, but they're opportunities really. They're just opportunities in the game. But my main focus that's signed and sealed is Jake Paul, so that's all I've got in front of me.
Do you agree with the assessment that if this fight goes longer than the Ngannou fight, it's kind of a...
No, Jake's a completely different fighter to Ngannou. Ngannou and Jake are completely different animals, so I can't compare the two together. Ngannou's never boxed before either, Jake's boxed before. They're just different. Ngannou's a lot more slower, but a lot bigger and more powerful. Jake's quicker. Jake boxes in a completely different style. Ngannou's more upright. He does switches southpaw and orthodox. Jake doesn't really do that. They're completely different fighters, if I'm honest with you. So I'm not trying to compare. At the end of the day, it's just what happens at the end of the night. I'm not in there to try and knock Jake out in 10 seconds or 8 rounds. I'm going to go in there and do a job.
He respected Paul's audacity, but stressed he's training, as for any elite contender, disciplined camp-sharp fundamentals, and a clear strategy to apply pressure, wear him down, and stop him decisively fight now.
I'm going in there, I can fight free. If he starts getting touched up and losing rounds, I think the cookie will crumble.
Do you agree?
Whatever he said. We'll see if the cookie crumbles. I don't know what to say. I'm confident in myself. Like, I'm not focusing on him. I just know what I can do, and I can't wait to show it. I'm not going to crumble. I'm solid.
Tension rose as Paul doubled down on bold promises to shock the world, while a calm, focused Joshua stayed unmoved, backing himself completely, and even offering to stake his chain on the fight outcome.
I like to challenge myself. I like to take on the biggest, the best. I said anyone, anytime, any place. I truly mean that. And I'm here to go out there and shock the world. I know what I'm capable of. I see him and what he's capable of. And we're going to go to war, and we'll see the best man that will win. But people say, oh, he's out of his mind, all of these things. I've gotten to where I'm at today because of delusional optimism. And so it's delusion until it's not, because look at where we're sitting today. No one ever thought that this would be possible, that we would be here when I first started boxing. And no one thinks I'm going to win. So join the list and be ready.
Joshua highlighted the true tactical risks, from heavyweight power to the demand for total focus, framing the bout as hype colliding with elite skill. He respected Paul's confidence, but warned that failing under sustained pressure would bring physical damage, reputational fallout, and sport-wide As the Miami press conference intensity fades, attention turns to Deontay Wilder, who injects a sobering note of caution. Wilder said the matchup can feel almost scripted because of the unusual weight gap and competitive imbalance, with Paul near 215 pounds against an active former champion around 250. Still, he emphasized that scripted or not, the risk is exactly the same once fighters enter the ropes, because boxing remains an unforgiving and inherently dangerous sport.
And I don't know nothing, but one person would do what Jake is doing. That's it. And I'm talking about the weight difference. For him being, well, like I said, 215 and Joshua being 250, I don't know that there was difference. I don't know no other person that have done that but me that fight that. I fight guys 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds heavier than me. You know what I mean?
But if it's not scripted, then do you think it's dangerous?
It's dangerous.
Citing his habit of undergoing MRIs and scans before every bout, Wilder warned that long-term damage can surface silently after the excitement fades, since the head isn't meant for repeated blows. He framed the Paul-Joshua fight as more than entertainment, stressing real safety risks and the sport's responsibility to protect competitive integrity when approving unconventional matchups.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous. And the one thing for sure my doctors have always told me, it's like the head, they say, Deontay, understand this. The head is not meant to be hit, you know? Because I always get, CAT scans and make sure the brain and stuff right and making my body right. And I always try to convince other fighters and stuff, go get MRIs, go get CAT scans, and go get all that, because your outside body may feel good. You may, I'm good. Especially after a fight, the adrenaline rush is still on. You don't feel nothing right now. But after this over with, maybe a week, a month, 11, you probably are developing something that can end your career. You just can't see it right now. You can't see it. You maybe can't feel it, but it's developing. And that's why I say, because the doctors always told me, and I learned from the doctors, they say, Deontay, understand, your head is not meant to be hit. Your brain is not.
As Wilder's warning lingers, the discussion shifts to Amir Khan's view, which mirrors those concerns but delivers a sharper caution. Khan said the fight's sudden emergence feels surreal, yet he believes a decisive Joshua knockout is the most likely outcome. He argued that Nikisa Baydarian is gambling unnecessarily by putting Paul in a matchup where the physical risk outweighs the reward, emphasizing that while the financial upside is obvious, Paul has a life beyond boxing that must be
so quick. It's come so quick, the fight has. But AJ, by knockout, brutal knockout, Nikisa is making a big mistake putting Jake Paul in a fight like this, because he's gonna want to see him get hurt. I mean, these guys are going for the money, where really, he has a life after boxing as well. Let's hope he comes out the ring.
Khan said Joshua's incentive is simple: a massive payday in a fight that clearly favors him on paper. Paul, meanwhile, is chasing influence, exposure, and the chance to reach boxing's traditional audience. Khan acknowledged boxing's unpredictability, where one punch can change everything, but insisted Paul lacks the power or technical danger to threaten a heavyweight of Joshua's level. He argued the matchup highlights the commercial pull of crossover fights, while also reigniting serious questions about safety, competitive balance, and how far the sport should go in stretching its limits to serve spectacle over substance.
Yeah, if I was AJ, I'd do the same thing, because at the end of the day, you're fighting a YouTuber, and why not? I mean, getting paid millions and millions of pounds. And why is Jake doing? Jake's just doing it for probably the fan following. Maybe he wants to get the boxing audience. But look, who knows? I mean, anything can happen in boxing. One punch can change the fight, but I just don't think he has that one punch to change the fight. It's just...
Following Amir Khan's warning about the danger Jake Paul faces, the focus turns to Eddie Hearn's perspective, which reinforces the same message from the standpoint of the man overseeing Anthony Joshua's career. Hearn explained that although Matchroom is not promoting the Miami event, he will be firmly in Joshua's corner, treating the bout with the same seriousness as any world-level contest. He emphasized that, contrary to public perception, the team is not viewing Paul as a novelty act or sideshow. Hearn stressed that Joshua's preparation reflects full respect for the challenge, with the same urgency, discipline, and tactical detail normally reserved for elite heavyweights. While he acknowledged that Paul has pride, genuine athletic ability, and experience sparring with large, high-level fighters, Hearn was clear that such preparation cannot truly mirror the level of power and threat Joshua represents inside the ring. In Hearn's view, Paul's best scenario is simply avoiding a clean connection, because once Joshua lands decisively, the outcome will be conclusive and unforgiving. He warned that even a momentary lapse in focus could instantly change the fight, given how quickly a heavyweight contest can be decided. Ultimately, Hearn made it clear that Joshua's team is expecting a clinical, ruthless performance, not a cautious or sentimental approach, underscoring their belief that this is a serious fight with serious consequences.
And we had a deal with the zone to allow AJ to take this fight. I'll be there promoting AJ. I won't be pushing and promoting the show like normal, but you'll see me. You'll see me all week, and I'll be around AJ like I am every fight week. And we're taking this very seriously. It's not like we're not going into this week in Miami as a laugh. We're not saying, oh, it's Jake Paul. Oh, this is going to be like we're expecting a test, and we're expecting and preparing like we would if we were fighting a world-class heavyweight. I don't think you would expect anything less from AJ. He's not mucking around. He's not laughing and joking. You know, he's relaxed, but he knows he's fighting next week on a massive stage.
Hearn also spoke to wider concerns surrounding fighters' safety, public perception, and the criticism boxing could face if the bout ends brutally. He noted that while Paul is far more prepared than a typical novice, he still isn't built to absorb the firepower a prime heavyweight brings. Hearn insisted Joshua's legacy is not on the line, describing the fight as an 8-round tune-up paired with exceptional financial upside and global exposure. For Joshua, he said, the approach is purely professional. Arrive in Miami, assert control with sharp, fast, punishing offense, leave with confidence restored, then turn full attention to world title goals in 2026. Hearn added that any elite fighter would accept this opportunity without hesitation, given its scale and reward. He ultimately characterized the camp's mentality as controlled intensity, no humor, no shortcuts, just a focused, calculated mission.
You know, and he can go over and, you know, he can't get up and the ref stop. That'll be a massive result. You know, the biggest result for Jake Paul right now is that he gets away with it by not getting hit too flush, because the artillery will be heavy. The artillery won't be, and I've lost count of how many times I've said this. Do not worry about anybody holding back. Do not worry about us going, oh, it's Jake Paul, let's not take it to... No. We're going in there, locked and loaded with the heaviest fucking artillery in the heavyweight division that will be...
Looking at everything from Joshua's cold, uncompromising focus in Miami to Wilder's stark safety warnings, Khan's pragmatic realism, and Hearn's behind-the-scenes can of the full scope of Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua is clear. This isn't just a crossover spectacle. It's a legitimate, dangerous heavyweight bout. Joshua is approaching it as a professional assignment, not a novelty, and every experienced voice in the sport essentially agrees, each emphasizing the same risks in their own way. The size, experience, and power gap aren't storylines of the reality Paul must navigate. Despite his confidence, marketability, and willingness to take risks, Paul is entering a division where one mistake can end a night, a career, or worse. That's why discussions repeatedly return to safety, legitimacy, and the responsibility of everyone involved. From this perspective, the fight feels less like a strategic crossroads and more like a collision between ambition and heavyweight physics. My prediction, Joshua by early knockout, not out of malice, but because history, skill, and sheer power all point in that direction. The only real question is how long Paul can evade a decisive shot before one clean hit settles everything.
Okay, so, and it will be unleashed sharp, fast, and hard on his chin. So the best case scenario for him is that he gets, it don't land too clean, because when it lands clean, he ain't getting up. And the fight's over, and he's getting knocked out bad. And there'll be a lot of people that will enjoy watching it. I'm giving him the respect to say, listen, you've got big balls. But he needs to get very lucky next weekend. Not lucky to win, not lucky to survive on points, lucky that the knockout.
In the end, one thing is clear: Jake Paul may have landed the biggest moment of his career, but Anthony Joshua is approaching it like a high-stakes mission with no room for mistakes. Share your thought in the comments. Is Paul daring or delusional? Is Joshua taking a real risk? Or is this the easiest payday of his career? Let the debate begin. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to BW Today. See you next time.